Hi, welcome to my video on find when the slope of a parabola is increasing, zero, or decreasing. F of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c is an equation of a parabola in standard form or general form. The slope of a parabola is zero when the derivative f prime is equal to zero, and the slope of a parabola is increasing when the derivative, which is the slope of the tangent, is greater than zero. So increasing, greater than zero. Decreasing is when the derivative is less than zero. So again, the slope of the parabola is zero at x equals zero, increasing when, the f prime x is equal to zero, f prime x is greater than zero, decreasing when f prime x is less than zero. So increasing is greater than, decreasing is less than zero. Find the values of x when the slope of the parabola is zero, increasing or decreasing. So let's do the derivative. F prime, derivative is 2 times 2 is 4, and the exponent decreases by 1, so 2 goes down to 1. And this is a linear, so it's a negative 12. This is a constant, 0. So the slope of a parabola, so if f prime x equals 0, that means the slope of the parabola is 0, so that means 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. So 4x equals 12 divided by 4, x equals 3. So when x equals 3, you put a 3 into this derivative here, and you get 12 minus 12 is 0. And this is when the slope is of the tangent is 0. And so this is when it's increasing. So it's increasing when the derivative is greater than 0. So that means 4x minus 12 is greater than 0. 4x is greater than 12 divided by 4. X is greater than 3. So again, the slope of the tangent is 0 when the derivative is equal to 0. That's at 3. It's increasing when the derivative is greater than 0. And that's x is greater than 3. And decreasing. So the slope of the parabola, which is the slope of the tangent, is decreasing when the derivative f prime x is less than 0. So 4x minus 12 is less than 0. And we work it out, move the 12 over and make it a plus. Divide by 4, we get less than 3. So the parabola is increasing when x is greater than 3, decreasing when x is less than 3. And the parabola slope is 0 at 3, which is the coordinate of the vertex, 3. And let's look at the h of x equals negative x squared minus 2x minus 3. Again, is a parabola. And we do h prime, which is derivative. And negative 1 times 2 is negative 2x minus 2. So this goes down by 1. And this goes down by 1, so that becomes a 0, or that's a linear. So the derivative of a linear is the number that's in front, which is negative 2. And derivative of a constant is 0. So we want to find when the slope of the parabola is 0. So that's when we let f prime x equals 0. So that means, h prime x. So if h prime x is equal to 0, so that means negative 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. Negative 2x is equal to 2. Divided by negative 2, x is equal to negative 1. So the slope of the parabola is 0 at negative 1, which is the x coordinate of the vertex. And it's increasing, when the h prime x is greater than 0. So that means that negative 2x minus 2 is greater than 0. Negative 2x is greater than 2. Divide by negative 2, I'll show that division there. So when we divide by negative 2, we get x, negative 1, and because we divide an inequality by a negative number, it becomes less than. And just check. If we take the values of x less than negative 1, so let's take negative 3. put a negative 3 right here, and we get 2 times negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4, and 4 is positive, but it fits. So it's decreasing, and I don't have to do it now because that means when x is greater than negative 1. But let's work it out. It's decreasing when the derivative h prime x is less than 0. Negative 2x minus 2 is less than 0. Negative 2x less than 2. Divide by negative 2, and we get x, negative 1. And again, divided by negative changes the less than to a greater than. So the values of x for the slope of the tangent is 0 is negative 1. The parabola is increasing where the slopes of the tangents are positive. That's when x is less than negative 1, and they're decreasing when x is greater than negative 1. Okay, let's continue. Now I did a few more with fractions just to make it interesting, but I also did some more with y equals. And to do the derivative, I do y dx on this side, and I'll do y dx on this side. Again, I'm showing you all the steps. So this is dy dx, and the derivative in terms of x is 2 times 1/3 is 2/3 x. Derivative of linear is plus 6. Derivative constant is 0. So this is dy dx is the same as y prime. So it's 2/3 x plus 6. Now, when we make y prime or dy dx equal to 0, so 2/3 x plus 6 equals 0, we have a fraction, so I'm going to multiply by 3. 2/3 times 3 is 2x. 2/3 times 6 is 18. 2/3 times 0 is 0. So 2x equals negative 18. When you move it over, divide by 2, x is equal to negative 9. So if we put a negative 9 here, this slope of the tangent will become 0. Now we have, when it's, that's when the slope is 0. So when it's increasing, so let's write down increasing. To spell that out, increasing, that's when y prime is greater than 0. That means 2/3 x plus 6 is greater than 0. Again, increasing is y prime is greater than 0. It means 2/3 plus 6 is greater than 0. Again, multiply by 3 because I have a fraction. So that's 2x plus 18 is greater than 0. 2x is greater than negative 18. Divide by 2, x is greater than negative 9. And decreasing, and again, decreasing is when y prime is less than 0. Decreasing is when the slope is negative, less than 0. So that means 2/3 x plus 6 is greater than 0. Now, if I don't want to multiply by 3, I could go 2/3 x is greater than negative 6. Now I can divide by 2/3 if I want on each side, but as divide by 2/3, I got x is greater than. So what we have is a negative 6 divided by 2/3. Negative 6 times 3 over 2. That's negative 18 over 2, which is negative 9. So it's easier. I find is when I have fractions, it's easier to multiply by the LCD. But if you want to do it this way, go ahead. And number 4, again, the derivative. I explained it all this way. So we can go, the derivative here is just y prime. We can also say the derivative of y is dy dx. So the derivative is 2 times negative 2/5, negative 4/5 x. And the derivative of a half x is a half. Derivative of a constant is 0. So that means we want to find when the slope of the tangent is 0. So that means that y prime is equal to 0. That means 4/5 x plus a half is equal to 0. And I got fractions, and the LCD for these fractions is 10. So I'll multiply each part of the equation by 10. I just find it's faster to do this way. So 5 into 10 goes 2. That gives us negative 8x. 2 into 10 goes 5 plus 5. And 10 times 0 is 0. So negative 8x equals negative 5. Divided by negative 8. We have x is equal to 5 over 8. So that's when the parabola has a zero slope, or slope of the tangent is 0. And what about when it's increasing? Okay, increasing is when y prime is greater than 0. So that means negative 4/5 x plus 1/2 is greater than 0. And again, we multiply by 10. So if you multiply by 10, you're going to get negative 8x plus 5 is greater than 0. Multiplying by 10. I do this cancellation like I did here. And that means negative 8x is greater than negative 5. You divide by negative 8, and you get x is greater than 5 over 8. And what about if it's decreasing? Decreasing is when y prime is less than 0. So that means negative 4/5 x plus 1/2 is less than 0. And multiply by 10, you get a negative 8x plus 5 less than 0. Negative 8x is less than negative 5. And, whoop, I see my mistake. I divided by a negative 8. I wasn't careful. Yes, this is 5 over 8, but because I divided an inequality by a negative, that means this becomes a less than. Oh, what a mistake to make. I divided by a negative 8. Up here, I divided by 2 is positive. I didn't change. Down here, I divided by negative 8, so that greater than becomes less than. Here I'm dividing by negative 8. So x, and because I divided by negative, the less than becomes a greater than. And so that's 5 over 8. Again, be careful when you divide an inequality by a negative number, the inequality reverses direction. So a couple of extra problems there with fractions just to make it different. But to review, derivative is 0 at f prime equals 0. Derivative is increasing when f prime is greater than 0. Derivative is, the slope of the tangent is decreasing when the derivative is less than 0. And again, if you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.